But I think one thing we can do is change our FOMO. Be fearful of missing out on the conversation that you're having with the person who's like live and in person with you.
Yeah. Hello there. You're listening to the Girl Talk podcast brought to you by our friends at Fox Toyota of East Tennessee. My name is Carol.
I'm Kelly.
My name's Trisha.
Glad you're here today. Technology, it's ruling my life.
Ooh.
Me too.
I'm telling you. Technology is such a great thing, but we get to the point where it absolutely just becomes a not so great thing. Can I go as far as say as maybe it's become an idol?
Yes, you can certainly go that far.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll go.
An addiction, if nothing else.
I read
Yeah.
this. Here's what started this conversation. If you have fallen victim to phantom phone alerts, the mysterious phenomenon where you think your phone is buzzing, but it isn't, it may be time to take a technology break. Okay?
That is totally me.
This says experiencing the non-existent vibrations could be an indicator that you are pathologically reliant on your cell phone. This is according to a new study.
Happened to me yesterday.
Right?
Right?
How many times has my back pocket buzzed and there was no buzz?
Well, I'll look over and I'll see, because it'll be over there. I'm like, is it lit up? Is it lit up? You know, because it'll light up when you get a text or a call or something.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking at my screen time tracker.
Oh, my goodness.
And
It's hard.
just looking at to see how many times I picked it up. Not even the number of hours I spent on it.
That's on there?
Girls, my average was something like 70 times a day.
That you picked up your phone?
I pick up my phone.
70?
70,
Where do
between
you
60
find
and
that?
70 under your screen time tracker. Anyway, that's 4 times an hour of the hours I'm awake. 4 times.
That's not a lot.
to
Mikhail.
pick, but
Only every 15
pick
minutes.
up and do something with it. What else do I do 4 times a day? 4 times an hour. Probably
Wow.
I breathe 4 times an hour.
Probably.
I hope so. I probably take a sip of water 4 times an hour.
Okay.
And I need both of those things for survival.
Okay, yeah.
I do not need my
I just
technology.
I think if we were to really drill down, I don't think 4 times an hour is really a whole lot. So I'm not trying to make you feel better, but I'm saying I don't
Seems like
think
a lot.
I know.
Does that include hours that you're sleeping?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing more on those other hours. I'm making feeling better because
Yeah.
I was like, I'm looking way more than 4 times an hour.
Yeah. So I have a little trick that I use, and I promise you it helps me. It may not help anybody else. You already know what it is, don't you?
Your black and white.
Yeah, my black and white
Yes, your
screen.
colorlessness.
Yeah, my colorlessness. Now, it makes it inconvenient, like if somebody sends you a picture and says, do you like this blouse? Because you have to turn the color on because you can see the color. But it helps me. So you can go into your settings and turn it to all black and white, and I promise you will see a difference in your screen time because the colors aren't calling for your attention and doing that crazy thing with your brain. So turning it black and white has really helped me decrease it. I mean, it's not gone altogether, but what are some other signs that you think you might be addicted to technology?
When I go there first for everything, as opposed to even my brain. Like instead of saying, oh, I wonder what 2 times 2 is. Oh, that's 4. I'll go to my phone and open up my calculator and go, oh, look at that, without just even thinking.
Just confirm.
Yes. Or, to Google something. I'll ask Siri instead of, instead of actually thinking, oh, maybe I actually do remember when, the Revolutionary War happened.
Right.
I don't need Siri to tell me that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some things that you think?
When was the last time you forgot your phone, left your phone, lost your phone? How panicked did you feel? That for me is a big deal because the other day I left my phone at home and I drove to work and I could not go back to get it. And I literally felt like I was in my undies all day long. Like I was so vulnerable. I was like, where's the phone?
Yeah.
I'm not clothed here. I'm not ready. Somebody could call me. And there was a time where people could call you on the landline and you would call them back or you'd get, at the end of the day, you'd get back to them. But it feels so immediate right now, the phones. Like if somebody were to call, if my kid's parents or my kid's teacher were to call, something like that, then I would be remiss because I wouldn't have my phone. And just that panic, I can feel my heart rate rising right now just talking about it.
Yeah. Well, do y'all remember when I was in college, there was one phone on the hall.
Yeah, the hall.
So when somebody called, if your parents called from home, you had to depend on somebody, number one, to answer the phone. Number 2, to put the phone up on the top of it and walk down to your room and knock on your door to see if you were there. Number 3, to walk back to the phone and tell your parents you weren't there. What number am I on? 5, 4, 5. Write down a message, go back to your room, put on your, like, it used to be so much harder.
Well, first they had to care.
Exactly.
That whole thing, and that's probably barrier number 1.
Exactly. But now, if like somebody does not respond in like 3 seconds, we're like flipping out.
They're mad at me.
Yeah, they're mad at me.
I've had a cell phone for less than half of my life.
Right.
And so there's a whole first half of my life that I had no technology. And there's a lot of you who listen who are older than I am.
My daughter hates when I bring that up. Like, she's like, well, I'm going to miss, this part of my life. And I'm like, I didn't have a cell phone when I was your age. Right. She hates that. Like, that's her worst thing I can say to her in the middle of a technology discussion.
And now our kids will never know a time without technology.
No.
And
they'll
we've
never have to
got
play
here
Pong.
fast.
You remember that?
I do
There was
remember
the
Pong.
line. I thought it was the greatest video game ever. That might
was.
say something about my intelligence.
It was the best. No, it was the best.
Anyway.
But I have fond memories of waiting on a phone call or getting a phone call, but the waiting, the anticipation of that is actually, it increases the pleasure when it happens. We're so immediate that being able to get a hold of somebody right away or them getting a hold of you're missing out. We're actually missing out on things. I used to sit in my pantry with the phone, we had the longer cord there, and so I could walk around and talk, and then I'd sit down I remember these great phone conversations. Your ear would burn, and then you'd hang up. It was just fun in a sense.
Yeah.
We lose things with all the technology.
Sure.
We're losing some parts of ourselves that are enjoyable.
My daughter had to write a paper, and I said, well, when I was in school, and she was like, oh, no, here's another story. I was like, no, for real. We had to go to the library and like take the books off the shelf and sit in the library to write a paper. She's like, how did you do that? She's like, did you have your computer with you? And I was like, we didn't have computers. Like, we had to type it out. And she goes, on a typewriter? Or like, yes.
And then we had to go to the card catalog first to figure
I was
out
thinking of
the
the card
Dewey
catalog.
Decimal System and figure out where the book
Our
was in the
age
library.
is showing, y'all.
Yes.
So
It's true.
we are addicted to technology. I think most of us could probably say that is the truth. So how do you break the addiction? One of the things that we have done at our house is and understand, like, I'm not the authority on this because I'm not the authority on anything, but Sunday has become like a Sabbath technology day for us. So my daughter does not have her phone at all on Sunday. I have to have my phone only because my mom is elderly and so I feel the need. But a lot of times will keep it in my purse and only check it periodically throughout the day. I don't stare at it all day, and we just don't do technology on Sundays. That's really been a good thing for us.
That's beautiful. I'm jealous already.
Yeah. Well, we don't do it perfectly. Like I say, my phone's still, like, if I get a call from work or something happens on the weekends, we've had several, situations like that on the weekends where we've traded information. So we don't do it perfectly, but in case of emergency, kind of on Sundays, and that's really worked well for us.
Well, it starts with that being intentional thing.
Yeah, building that into your. I love there are some restaurants where you go and they have a phone,
like a basket.
Yeah, like a basket. And you
Jail.
Put your, phone jail.
Chick-fil-A does that, or
Do
some
they?
Chick-fil-A's
Yeah.
do that. Mm-hmm.
And you
great.
put your phone in the basket and you don't talk on it while you enjoy. I hate going out and seeing like entire families, everybody on their phone and not.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah. I have
Sitting
too.
around looking at my two men and going, why are y'all not talking to me?
Yeah.
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 This is sad.
Yeah.
I think for me, one of the things that I think is the motivator behind the reason why we check our phones so much is that FOMO, that fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're just afraid that we've missed out. So I think and I haven't done this well, but I think one thing we can do is change our FOMO. Be fearful of missing out on the conversation that you're having with the person who's like live and in person with you.
Yeah.
Start having fear of missing out on watching your child who's growing up way too fast, that you might miss those moments, as opposed to the FOMO of what's going on in the world around me, what's going on in my technology, what's happening on Facebook, what's happening in the news, where
Yeah.
all of those things, if we just switch our FOMO and have fear of missing out of the things that are right in front of us.
I read something somewhere that said the way we use our phones is kind of like adults sucking their thumb because it's like a calming mechanism. And I know for myself that sometimes when I'm with my family, whom I love, and my teenager is kind of challenging me, or something's happening with my younger son, and the feelings of maybe helplessness, or I'm not doing a good job, or I'm failing, overwhelm me, that is when I'm likely to pick up my phone because I don't feel like engaging is helping me. I'm feeling like it's making me anxious. And so when I get on my phone, I stop thinking about that and I'm scrolling. And I'm essentially sucking my thumb because I'm feeling overwhelmed. For me, I know in order to help myself, I have to relax in the moment and just be okay. I want family dinners and family experiences to be fun and enjoyable, but sometimes they're not. And I have to be okay with them being not sometimes without going for the quick and easy solution of thumb sucking, phone checking. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Because why do you think we shy away from that uncomfortableness? What do you think we need about that experience?
I think for me, I just feel very anxious, like I'm not doing a good job as a mom, for example.
But what is that anxiety? I think the result of that anxiety, what we do with that anxiety. You know, you're basically saying we turn to a phone, and I totally agree we do that. It may be anxiety, it may be, you feel depression,
yeah,
because that's a dopamine hit when you go and see a like. But what is it from that experience that we need to gain or glean or learn so that we don't turn to the wrong things? I mean, I think it's just like anything else. When people get to a turning point in their lives and they don't know how to deal with that and they turn to the wrong things, we typically call that addiction.
Yes.
Yes. And I don't think cell phone there are actually places now you can go for cell phone addiction. I didn't know
true.
that.
Yes,
really?
I have a friend whose nephew went to one of them.
Do they pick up their phone more than 70 times a day? Do
I
I need
actually
an intervention?
64, but anyway, we're not counting. But I think we have to look at it for what it is and learn from that experience and that discomfort.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we live in a society and a culture that tells us if anything's uncomfortable, we need to do whatever it takes to get out of that discomfort. And I think in that discomfort, we learn and we grow, but we don't stay there long enough because we have this stupid device in our pockets that delivers us from that.
Yes. Yeah. We can't tolerate discomfort.
Yeah. And so our threshold for that gets lower and lower and lower until we don't want anything to be uncomfortable. And I think that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
It is for sure. And it's even, I would say for myself, it's even worse for my kids.
Yeah.
Because their threshold is lower and lower and lower because just life experiences. And so they are building habits where they can't tolerate the discomfort and they go straight to technology. And it could be a game or it could be scrolling something.
And we didn't have phones when we were their age.
Yeah.
And our habits and our addictions have gotten here very fast. What are our kids going to be doing when they're 45?
Right.
And they've done nothing but suck that thumb of technology for 45 years.
So
Scary.
What do you see that is working for either somebody else or for you that we think we could give as like practical examples? I think having a downtime, that downtime on your phone is good not only for your kids, it's good for you too.
Yes.
At 8 p.m. we're down. We're done.
Power down.
Yeah.
That's good.
Plug
you
in the
do
phone.
that in your settings of your phone.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's
Gosh,
what
that's good. I've got to
here's
do that.
what
I need
else
that.
you can also set that for games and apps that you are prone to use. Can I just be completely honest with you? I have my Facebook app set for 15 minutes because I can't handle any more than 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, I start to do unhealthy things like compare myself to other people and look and see. And people are like, "Oh, you didn't see that on social media." I'm like, "No, I didn't. I was up my limit that day." And sometimes I get the 15-minute limit first thing in the morning.
15 minutes a day.
Yeah. And that's sometimes too much. It does crazy stuff to my head. I'll just be honest with you. I can sink into a deep depression from looking at Facebook.
I was really proud of my son, y'all, if I just can brag on him for a second.
do.
He started feeling himself being pulled in like that. I mean, he's 13, and he chose of his own, he chose himself to take both Snapchat and Instagram off of his phone.
Yeah.
Because he felt himself being sucked into stupid stuff.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. I was really impressed.
That's great.
Yeah, and I got convicted because I was like, I can't tell my kid to do something I'm not willing to do. Sure. And so setting those limits for me has been like, because I mean I think I'm more messed up than my kid could ever be, and so
I've had a couple more years to work on it.
50 whole years to work on it, right? And but setting those limits and to know it's okay.
That's smart.
To have those limits in place so that you have at least something to bump your head on when you get to that point. You're like, yeah, it's probably not good for me at this point in my life because, you know, we keep talking about that when you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, that's usually when you show up on Facebook. And everybody else is not hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, and they're living their best life. And that's when you just go down that dark hole of depression.
Yeah.
Or you say something
angrier,
stupid.
right? You say something stupid. You feel lonelier. You feel more tired.
Tell yourself bad things.
Like, right? And so I just thought, you know what, 15 minutes? If I can't do it, I just...
I'm feeling convicted because I have not been doing that. One thing we have done that's worked for our children is we have no tech weeks.
Yeah.
We'll try to do that once a month.
Yeah.
And we don't always do it. But when we do it, the truth is the first day is a little bumpy.
Yeah.
But the second day, they start to play balloon tennis in the house.
Yeah.
Or they start to build a fort. Or they start to be creative. One time, they created their own board game. Like they made their own board game.
Fun.
And drew characters for this board game.
Yeah.
That was a no tech week beautiful gift.
Yeah.
And every time we do it, they don't like it at first, but by day 2, day 3, we're starting to see smiles. We're seeing interactions. We're seeing a lot more creativity and fun. But I'll be honest, I have not done that myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, no tech week, boys. And then I'm going in the bathroom. I need to be better about myself.
I think our conversations are even better, you know, when we're not distracted by that all the time.
For sure.
Yeah. Y'all are
'Cause you're
convicting
present.
me.
Yeah, me too.
Gracious. I want that, what you said, Carol, about the Sabbath, and I want that, what you said, Trisha, about the no tech week. I'm going to implement both of those things in my house.
So now
I'm going to implement.
Trisha,
I need a jail, though.
Your kids, and Kelly, your kid's going to hate my guts for the next
Call
little bit.
Carol.
Like, it's Carol's fault. Yeah, but I mean, I think anything that we can do to encourage each other to get away from this, Anne Lamott said, what I found is that pretty much everything will work better if you unplug it for a little while, even you.
Amen.
You know?
Amen.
And it's true. When we get unplugged from our devices and we spend some time in nature or we just breathe and think. Like sometimes I'll be sitting there and Elle's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm just thinking. What are you thinking about? I'm like, this is not an interrogation. I just need some time to just ponder stuff. But she always looks at me like I'm weird because I'm not watching TV. I'm just sitting, staring, you know.
Well, and God can use those moments.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
He can
will.
speak to us in that quiet stillness of our hearts and our minds, where if we're constantly connected to technology and we're scrolling whatever, we're playing a stupid game, we are drowning out the voice of the Holy Spirit.
So true. So true.
Even if you're listening to good stuff.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we're not in the present. When you're on your phone, when I'm on my phone, when I'm on my social media, I'm not in the present.
Yep.
I'm thinking about their trip to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Or, that other person's thing. But in the present is where God can speak to me and where I can find joy.
So good. So good.
And I want God to speak to me.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want that. And I want to be present.
Yeah.
Girls, help hold me accountable.
Yep, we'll do that. And hey, if you've got ideas, tips, tricks that have worked for you, things that are working around your house, we would love to hear from you.
Please.
Email us at girltalk@thelightfm.org. Want to say thanks to our friends at Fox Toyota of East Tennessee for their partnership in ministry. We appreciate you folks. Could not do this without your help. So thank you so much. And let us hear from you. Let's talk about this. We got lots of great suggestions for you, but I'm sure you have some great suggestions for us, and we'd love to hear them. girltalk@thelightfm.org. Once again is the email address. And we'll see you next time we gather around these microphones for the next Girl Talk podcast.